Assalamu alaikum, marhaban. Let's do something very serious today, but before then, let me keep this book away from us. Consider these sentences on the board. The first one says, Sahul al-imtihan. No, let's not use that. Sa'ub al-imtihan. What's the meaning? It means the examination was difficult. Now, consider the second one. Sa'ab al-ustadhul imtihana. The teacher made the examination difficult. Let's look at two words which appear in each of the sentences. The first one is the word sa'aba, and the second sentence we have the word sa'aba. If you look at these two words, you see that there is a similarity. What is that? These two words are from the same root. Before we go deeper into this, let me give you another example. I will simply say, Jalas al-waladu. The boy sat down. And I will say, Ajlastul walada. I sat the boy down. If you look at these two sentences also, you will see that the word jalasa and ajlasa are also similar. Then what is the difference? Let's look at the first one. Sa'uba and sa'aba. Sa'uba is a triliteral verb. In the Arabic language, we call this type of verb as what? Al-fa'ilu thulathi al-mujarrad. A triliteral bare verb. The second one, sa'aba, this word has four letters. The first letter sod, then the ain, which is the middle letter, is doubled, and the third letter is ba. This makes up four letters. This is to show that the same word sa'uba is being turned to sa'aba by simply turning and doubling the second letter ain. This is why this type of word is called al-thulathi al-mazid. Al-mazid biharfin. That is a triliteral verb which has an addition of a single letter. We'll come back to this again. Let's go down. The word jalasa, he sat, this is also similar to sa'uba because this is a triliteral verb, al-thulathi, a verb with three letters. And majority of the Arabic language verbs you come across, they have three letters, except for some few words which will appear as four letters in their original root form. Now the word ajlasa on this side, this is a four-letter verb. However, the addition of simply adding hamza to this is what differentiates this word from jalasa. So ajlasa, this is also al-fa'ilu thulathi al-mazid, which is a triliteral verb with an addition biharfin of a letter. What is now the difference? Sa'ub al-imtihan. The examination was difficult. It is possible that the examination is difficult due to the type of course which you are writing exams on. The examination could also be difficult because you fail to read your books and understand. But in the second one, Sa'ab al-ustadhul imtihana, the action or the quality of difficulty which you attach to the examination was as a result of the action of the teacher. The teacher made the examination to be difficult. He's a wicked person. Is he? I don't know. You can judge. Sa'ab al-ustadhul imtihana. The teacher made the examination to be difficult. The first one, this is an intransitive verb, which we call al-fi'lu lazim in the Arabic language. And simply an intransitive verb, as I told you in the last episode, link placed above, it is any verb which does not require a direct object to convey a complete meaning. Now, this word, which is an intransitive verb and does not require an object, this word can have been made into a transitive verb, now requiring an object. That is by simply doubling the second letter and changing it from sa'uba to what? Sa'aba. So here we have sa'aba. This is now a transitive verb. That is why you can see it now has an object, a maf'ulun bihi, which is al-imtihana. First, sa'uba al-imtihan, the examination was difficult by itself. But here, it is the action of the teacher that has made the examination to become difficult. Do you understand? If you don't, let's move on to the next example, and by then, you should understand better. The next one says jalasa al-waladu. The boy sat by himself. The word jalasa is also an intransitive verb which is al-fi'l al-lazim. It does not require a direct object to convey a complete meaning. But when we turn the word to ajilastu al-walada, I made the boy to sit. The boy sitting down now, he did not do that by his own action, but I made him to do it. So because of this particular word now requires an object. So I say ajilastul walada. Another example, I can say kharajal abu. The father, or kharajal amilu. The worker went out. I can say akhraja sayyidul amila. The leader sent the worker out. Can you see the word kharaja and akhraja? By simply adding hamza to the word kharaja, then we now have a transitive verb. Now a question that will be running through your mind is that how do we simply make words from intransitive to becoming transitive? There are several ways. Two of the ways is what we have just learned, by simply doubling the second letter of the verb, as we have in Sa'aba. We could also use it in Sahula by saying Sahula al-imtihan. The examination was easy. Then we say Sahal al-ustad al-imtihana. The teacher made the examination to be easy. The word Sahula, Sahala. You can see. So most of the verbs which appear in this pattern of Fa'ala could be used as transitive verbs. The second way you can do this is by simply adding hamza. Like when I said ajilasa, to make someone to sit. Or when I say akhrajitu, I sent him out. Now, in order to understand this topic fully, let's come back to our book An-Nahwu al-Wadih lil-Marhalati al-Ibtidaiyya. For those of us who have not purchased their copies, I encourage you to do so in order not to be behind. Then if you cannot, you can simply click on the description box to get the download link in order to have your own copy. But before you move on, make sure you like, share with your friends and your comments at the comment section. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, do so and do yourself a good by simply visiting our store in order to purchase some of our products. Assalamu alaikum. Now let's go. Here we have the topic ta'diyatul fi'li bil hamzi wa tad'if. Making a verb to become transitive by simply adding a hamza or by simply doubling the letter, as we have said. Now we have lots of examples that you can use in your communications. Al-amthila, we have examples. The first one says kharaja ar-rajulu, the man went out. Then we have on this side akhrajitu rajula, I made the man to go out, meaning I sent him out. Kharaja, he went by himself. So the word kharaja, it is an intransitive verb al-fi'l al-lazim. To make it transitive and requiring an object, I simply added hamza and it becomes akhrajitu. Are we following? The second example says jalasa zairu, the visitor sat down or sat. Then we have ajilastu zairo, I sat the visitor, meaning I made him sit. Here we have da al-kitabu, the book was lost. Then we have adatul kitaba, I lost the book. I made the book to, I lose the book or I lost it. Now we have farihal waladu bil jaiza, the boy was happy with the gift. Now we have farahtul walada, I made the boy happy with the gift. Can you see the difference? The boy was happy with the gift. He was happy by himself when you see the gift. But now farahtu, I made him happy by giving him the gift. Now we have sahulatil mas'alatu, the issue was easy, the matter was easy. I will say sahaltul mas'alata, I made the issue, I made the matter to be easy. Now we have number 6, sa'uba sayru fit tariqi, movement on the road was difficult. Moving on the road was difficult. Then we have sa'aba al-mataru sayra, the rain made the movement difficult and hard. We have qara'a aliyun al-kitaba, Ali read the book. Aqra'tu aliyan al-kitaba, I made Ali to read the book. We have fahima Sa'idun ad-darsa, Sa'id understood the lesson. Can you see? Afhamtu Sa'idan ad-darsa, I made Sa'id to understand the lesson. Fahima, he understood. Afhamtuhu, I made him understand. Rakiba Faridun Farasa. Rakiba Faridun Farasa. Farid rode the horse. Then we have Arkabtu Faridan Nil Farasa. I made Farid to ride the horse. Now we have Khafa Rajulu Zuluma. The man feared the night or the darkness. Then Khawaftu Rajula Zulma. I made the man to fear the darkness. Now we have Hafiz al-Gulamul Quran. The boy memorized the Quran. Then we have Hafadul Gulam al-Quran. I made the boy to memorize the Quran. I can say Hafadtu ibni al-Quran. I made my son to memorize the Quran. Let's continue. Lastly, Hamala Jamalul Hataba. The camel carried the wood. Then we have Hamaltul Jamal al Hataba. I loaded the camel with the wood. Now you can have gotten a lot of examples, and one of the ways you can speak fluently with this Arabic language is by simply repeating what you see. So go on and repeat this, use them in your communications, and you become an ardent, a fluent speaker of this language. Let's move on to Al-Bahthu, deep explanation of this topic, better than I've done it, written by the Shuyukh who wrote these books. جميع الأفعال في القسم الأول ثلاثية. They said all of the verbs you have found in the first section of these examples, all of them are triliteral verbs. Triliteral? Good. They are all three-letter verbs. وهي إما لازمة كما في الأمثلة الستة الأولى. And possibly these verbs are either intransitive verbs as you have seen them in the first 6 examples, وإما متعدية لواحد كما في الأمثلة الستة الثانية. Or these verbs themselves could have been transitive verbs which extend their actions to only one object. وإذا تدبرنا الأفعال القسم الثاني. If we should ponder over the verbs in the second section, وجدناها تختلف عن أفعال القسم الأول إما بزيادة حمزة في أول الفعل. If we look at the verbs in the second section, the same verbs, you will see that these particular verbs, they have these particular verbs are now different from the verbs on the first section, either by the addition of hamza to as the first letter, وإما بتضعيف الحرف الثاني منه, or by simply doubling the second letter. فهل أثر ذلك فيها من حيث اللزوم والتعدي. Now this particular thing you have seen, this particular addition that you have seen in the second section, does this have any trace and any effect on the transitiveness or intransitiveness of the verb? This is your question. Now, of course, فالأفعال التي كانت في القسم الأول, all of the verbs which were in the first section, لازمة, they were all intransitive. صارت بزيادة الهمزة أو التضعيف متعدية لواحدة. You will see that by simply adding hamza or doubling the second letter have turned them to transitive verbs. والأفعال التي كانت في القسم الأول, and all of the verbs which were in the first section متعدية, that were transitive already to just one object, صارت بزيادة الهمزة, they become, by simply adding hamza to them, at متعدية للاثنين. By simply adding hamza and doubling one of the letter, they have become a transitive verb affecting two objects. Now we have al-qawaid. But before we go there, let me quickly point to you that the Arabic verbs which are divided into two, we have the intransitive verb and we have the transitive verb. Intransitive verbs sometimes could be made transitive by simply adding hamza and doubling the middle letter. These transitive verbs, sometimes we can also have transitive verbs which only affect one single object. But by simply adding hamza and doubling a letter of it, it could now become transitive by extending its action to two objects. Now we have al-qawaid rule. The rule says إذا زيد في أول الفعل الثلاثي, when there is an addition to the beginning of a triliteral verb, and this addition is hamza أو ضعف ثانيه, by adding hamza to a triliteral verb or by doubling the second letter of a three-letter verb, تعدى لواحد إن كان لازما. This particular verb now extends its action to one object if it was an intransitive verb, وتعدى لاثنين, and it extends its action to two objects إن كان أصله, if the origin of this verb متعديا لواحد was a verb which extends its action to just one object. Now we have an exercise to solve. From here we understand this topic better. تمرين الأول, the first exercise says ميز الأفعال اللازمة والمتعدية فيما يأتي. You are to indicate and differentiate all of the intransitive and the transitive verbs from the following. He says لما جاء المعز لدين الله مصر. When المعز لدين الله from Egypt, when he came, the word جاء there is already an intransitive verb, a very lazim. واتخذ القاهرة مقرا لخلافته, and he betook Cairo as the seat of his power. That is, you can see the word اتخذ القاهرة. So اتخذ here is what? فعل متعد. حب ينشر المعارف في البلاد. He quickly moved on to spreading knowledge in the land. So you can see the word yanshuru al-ma'arif. And the yanshuru here, it is coming as what? Good, as objects. وَيَحْكُمُ بِالْعَدْلِ بَيْنَ الْعِبَادِ, and he judged with justice among the slaves, or among the people. So يَحْكُمُ بِالْعَدْلِ, the word hakama, this is an intransitive verb. وَيَسُوسُ النَّاسَ بِالرِّفْقِ وَاللِّينِ, and he led people, he ruled over the people with simplicity and leniency. So yasusu, this is also a transitive verb. فَقَامَتْ أَسْوَاقُ الْعِلْمِ, the market of knowledge was established. قَامَتْ, you can see back, this is also an intransitive verb. وَنَفَقَتْ بَضَائِعُ الْأَدَبِ, and the commodities of morality became widespread. Can you see? وَتَوَافَرَتِ الْأَمْوَالِ, and wealth become enormous. So tawafarat, this is also an intransitive verb, if al-lazim. وَاتَّجَهَتْ إِلَيْهِ الرَّعِيَّةُ تَدْعُ اللَّهَ يَحْفَظُهُ وَيَعِزُّهُ, and his subjects, they all turn towards him, praying to the Almighty Allah to protect him and to strengthen him more. Ittajaha, this is what? Fi'lun lazim. Then tad'u da'a, this is fi'lun muta'addi. Yahfadhu, this is fi'lun muta'addi. Yu'izzu, this is also fi'lun muta'addi. Then wasdahamatil ufudi ala babihi, a lot of what are they called, ufud, wafdun, that is how do we call it in English? It has escaped my brain. Like people who are sent, they were coming to his door in multiples. وَهُوَ يَسْتَقْبِلُهُمْ, while he was responding to them بِلُطْفِهِ وَبَشَاشَتِهِ, through his leniency and his bashasha, his happiness, like his glittering face. He was so happy to meet them. فَلَمْ يَخْرُجْ مِنْ إِنْدِهِ أَحَدٌ, no one went out from him إِلَّا شَاكِرٌ, except that such a person is appreciative. So from the word is dahama, this is fi'lun lazim. Then yastaqbiluhum, this fi'lun muta'addi. Then yakhruju, this is fi'lun lazim. Tamrin al-Thani, from this second exercise, we will pick just one and solve from each of them. Then you can solve the remaining because we have taught this topic thoroughly. The first one says, Akmil al-Jumal al-Atiya, complete the following sentences. بوضع مفعولين في الأماكن الخالية, by placing objects in the blank spaces. The first one says اقتلعت العواصف, so we simply say اقتلعت العواصف الأشجار. Now you can solve the remaining by yourself. Okay, number two, أوقد الخادم, I will say أوقد الخادم المصباح. Coming to exercise number three, it says أدخل فعلا من أفعال الرجحان. The verbs of rujahan which you have learned, you are to bring a verb among them. وَمَعَهُ فَاعِلُهُ, with it they should be the subject. على كل جملة من الجمل الآتية from the following sentences واستوفي جميع أفعال هذا النوع and use all of these type of verbs that we have learned in the previous lesson. You can go back there and check it. الورق ناعم. I can simply say ظننت الورق ناعما. ما شاء الله. Now coming to exercise number 4, it says أدخل فعل من الأفعال اليقين. You are to bring a verb from the verbs of yaqeen, the verbs of certainty we have, and bring the subject with it, then complete the following sentences using all of them. As-sibahatu mufidatun. Mufidatun, I can simply say good. I can simply say alimtu sibahata mufidatan. Alima, daro, and the word ta'allama, all of these words fall under af'alul yaqin. Tamrin on how message number 5, it says ij'al kulla ismin min al-asma'il atiya. All of the following nouns, you are to make them as the second subject لِفِعْلٍ مِنْ أَفْعَالِ التَّحْوِيلِ, using them for a verb among the verbs of tahwil, that the word sayyara, the word sayyara, and the rest of them. Here we have habiban. I can simply say ittakhaztu muhammadan habiban. MashaAllah. Next we have ij'al juz'ay kull jumla min al-jumal al-atiya. You are to use each of the two sides of the following sentences, make them as two objects, thaniyan wa thalisan, second and third object, lifailin, for a verb which can make three objects to be in the nasbu case. The first one we have al-amalu mutqanun. I can simply say Araitu Muhammadan al-amala mutqanan. Solve the remaining. Number 7, we have Dar'il af'al al-atiya fi jumal al-mufida. The following verbs, place them in complete sentences. First one, I can say faza al-waladu. Solve the remaining. Tamrin al-thami, exercise number 8. The first one says kawwin thalatha jumalin. Form 3 sentences, fi'liya, 3 verbal sentences, yakunu fiha, fi'lu fiha, lazim, and the verb in each of them should be an intransitive verb. You can say ja al-walad. Can stop the remaining. Number 2, you have kawwin thalatha jumalin. Form 3 sentences, verbal sentences also, and make the verb there to be لمفعول واحد. يكون الفعل فيها لمفعول واحد. The verb should be acting on one single object. Stop it. Number 3, the same thing. You have to form 3 sentences, and this sentence should have a verb which is muta'addi, which is a transitive verb extending its action to 2 objects. And these objects originally should be mubtada and khabar. We have taught all this. Look previous to the previous video and watch it. Number 4, we have kawwin thalatha jumalin. Form 3 sentences, verbal, and make the verb there to be the type of verb that extends its action to 2 objects, and these 2 objects originally should not be mubtada and khabar. Lastly, kawwin thalatha jumalin. Form 3 sentences, فعلية, verbal sentences, يكون الفعل فيها متعديا لثلاث مفاعيل. The verb there should extend its action to 3 objects. Good. تمرين task exercise number 9. The first one says كون ثلاثة جمل. Form 3 sentences. These 3 sentences should be verbal sentence, and the فعل there should be متعديا لواحد بالتبعيد. Should be the type of verb that is extending its action to 1 object by simply doubling the letter of the verb. The second one, the same thing. Form verbal sentence, 3 verbal sentences. This type of sentence should also have a verb whose second letter is doubled, but the action is extended to 2 objects. The third one, form 3 verbal sentences also. The action of this verb should be extended to 1 object by simply adding hamza to the verb. The last one says the same thing. Form 3 verbal sentences. These verbal sentences should have a verb that is extending its action to 2 objects by simply adding hamza to the verb. Coming to tamrin in filling exercise number 10. The first one says uktub mawdu'an tufassilu fihi amal sa'il barid. Write a topic where you shall be explaining the work of the mailman. The mailman. Mailman, you know mailman, the one that send mails, you know mails and messages. وَمَيِّزْ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ مَا اسْتَعْمَلْتَهُ فِي الْمَوْضُوعِ, and differentiate what you have used in writing the topic من الأفعال اللازمة of the intransitive verb, وأفعال المتعدي and the transitive verbs. You have to do this your assignment, not mine. Lastly, we have, number 2, we have صف الشرطية وبين أعماله. Describe a policeman and explain his work. ثم اذكر ما يشتمل عليه موضوعك من الأفعال اللازمة. Then mention what your topic contains of the intransitive verbs والمتعدي and the transitive verbs. مستعينا في الكتابة, helping yourself in writing this topic بعناصر الآتية under the following titles. The first one, جسمه وقامته. You shall be writing, or you'll be writing on the body of a policeman and his stature, the stature on the body of a policeman. صحته وقوته, the health and also the power, the strength of the policeman. ملابسه صيفا وشتاء, the clothes of a policeman during the winter and the summer. حفظ الأمن, the protection of security. In terms of the policeman, how the policeman protects the security. Al-qabdu al-mujrimin, the arresting of the criminals, how the policeman arrests the criminals. Is'afun nasi fi shada'id, securing the people and also safeguarding the people during the time of what? Of hardship. Tanzimu sayr, that is maintaining movements. وَمَنْعُ الزِّهَامِ, and preventing, how the policeman is also able to prevent congestion. Al-muhafadhatu al-adab, and also protecting the morality. These are all the work of policemen that you have to write about. Now we have Tamrinun fil i'rab, the last exercise, which is on grammatical analysis. Let's analyze the following grammar sentences. The first one says, we have an example, a sample. It says, نبأت سيدا أخاه قادما. I informed Sa'id, his brother is coming. The word نبأت is فعل ماضي مبني على السكون والتاء ضمير متصل فاعل مبني على الضم. You know this. سعيدا مفعول به أول منصوب بالفتحة. أخاه مفعول به ثاني منصوب وعلامة نصبه الألف لأنه من الأسماء الخمسة والخاء ضمير مضاف إليه. You know all this. قادما مفعول به ثاني منصوب بالفتحة. Now you have to do your own. The first one says ظننت المصباح منطفئا. I thought the lamp is off. Now we have ظننت فعل ماضي مبني على السكون التاء ضمير فاعل مبني على الضم. Then we have المصباح مفعول به أول منصوب بالفتحة منطفئ مفعول به ثاني مفعول منصوب بالفتحة. The last one أخبرني. أخبر فعل ماضي مبني أخبر فعل ماضي مبني على الفتح. Then نون هي نون الوقاية وياء ضمير متصل مبني على السكون في محل نصب. فريد فاعل مرفوع أباه. أباه مفعول به ثاني منصوب بالألف لأنه من الأسماء الخمسة. هو مضاف وهو مضاف إليه. مريض مفعول به ثالث منصوب بالفتحة. With this we come to the end of this lesson. We ask Allah to bless us. Until we meet again, jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum.